Well, good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. This is Patty Carson from Kansas. I'm really excited to have you here this morning. And literally, I could talk for 15 minutes introducing the guy that's going to talk this morning because he's made such an impact on my life and so many others. But I won't take that time away from him. But he is, just an inspiration to me as a person, as a leader. He was one that made a big change in my life many years ago when I was down and out, and he told me to get up and dream again. That was about a little over 15 years ago, and it just changed my life. He's an immigrant from, Albania, came here. I was here the day, he got his citizenship. I was with him, and it's been fun watching his journey, and you are in for a treat right now. So Andi Duli, welcome to the call here.
Hey, thanks, Patty. Good morning, everybody. Good to be on the call this morning. Patty, thank you for the nice words. Every time I go speak, I would love to have you come and tag along, and I'll buy lunch. Haha. So, a couple of thoughts this morning. A story reminded me of this topic, and sometimes speakers share something that maybe they need to hear, right? So a story I read in a book a long time ago, and it talks about a guy. The author is in the subway, and people walk in. They're all in the subway, and this father comes with 4 children, and the kids are acting up, screaming, hollering, running around, young kids, and the father just in trance thoughts and the head down, seems down and sad and depressed. And the author is sharing the story, and he's talking about how he's getting irritated and almost angry at this point, and other travelers are all upset and kind of looking at him and wondering, why the heck aren't you doing something about your children? So the author takes the courage and talks to the man and says, hey, do you see what the kids are doing and see how they have influence or impacted everybody on this subway, and they're a bit annoying. So he said the man raised his eyes, and with a sincere apology said, I'm sorry, we all just came back from the hospital. They just lost their mother. And the author started talking about how he went from anger and irritation of the man and the kids to true compassion and tears in his eyes. And so what I want to share this morning, a couple of thoughts, is really how sometimes we're so quick to judge, and what it really costs us in terms of relationships and emotions and health when we're so quick to judge. And so I'll give you guys 2 patterns to think about. Number one is, first of all, there's a pattern for everything. There's a pattern to be healthy. There's a pattern to be unhealthy. There's a pattern to have good, strong relationships. There's a pattern to build wealth. There's a pattern, to stay broke. And there's a pattern to build a business. And so the key in life is really pattern recognition. That's why going to people that have what we want, and if we model their behavior, gosh, if you plant a cucumber seed, you'll get the same harvest, right? So pattern recognition, pattern application, that's the key. But think about pattern 1. Number 1 is, let's say you want to develop this habit of, when you see another person, you are mindful of, here is God's creation, and you approach them with curiosity to hear their story. And of course, if you're curious, you lean forward. If you lean forward, you may learn something from them, about them, or maybe you can help and impact them. And when you're with them, imagine if you focus to just look at the color of their eyes, and you look at the person through the filter. You don't look at them through the filters of titles, possessions, or wealth or successes. You're like, man, here's another human being, no judging, and you truly see them through the lenses of love and gratitude. Question for you: how is your connection with them? And by the way, we all know that magic happens when you connect with another human being. When you go from talking, chatting, surface stuff, to really connecting heart to heart, soul to soul. But to connect at that level, you got to see them better as they are. So how's your energy towards them? Are you secure? Are you insecure? The good books, there's a verse in the Bible that says perfect love drives away fear. So when you truly love somebody, and to love them, sometimes you just got to give up all the beliefs about them and the judging. So picture the impact on that. Now here's pattern 2. You put on your dark judging lenses and you look for faults. You look at, or you compare yourself. You look for shortcomings. You tear that building down. And sometimes people do that in their head so they can appear taller and better. And sometimes it's a subconscious thing, because the more you do, some people can find certainty and security based on love and gratitude and growth and their identity and who they are. And some other people find security or certainty by tearing other buildings down, by tearing other people in their mind so they can appear better. But by doing that, you're tearing yourself, it affects your self-esteem. And of course, every human being, me and you and every person on this call, we all have good, we all have beautiful things, pleasant things, and not so good things. The key is anything that you look for in another person, you'll find. But if you put those dark lenses on and you compare and you judge, how is your energy towards them? Are you able to reach them? Do you think you can influence them? Do you think you can learn something from them? Do you like them? Do you not? Do you think they sense it? I mean, heck, animals can, sense our emotions, let alone another human being. All of us know somebody likes us or if they don't like us, because their energy, when we meet somebody, before they even say hello, the energy comes and greets you and talks to you, and you already know before they even come within 5-10 feet of you. Or go meet their spouse and look at them and see, you will know if they have talked highly of you or if they just talk smack of you. But all I'm trying to say is, when we judge other people, it costs so much, and it strains relationships. It leads to feelings of resentment, mistrust, insecurity, and the quality of our life is the quality of how we feel. It's a quality of relationships. And when we think right towards people, instead of being in the back of the room, we're mingling with them. We want to learn from them. We want to give, and we're more authentic. We're either authentic or we're posers and posing. Man, accepting our faults, accepting who we are, the good, the bad, and the ugly. We're able. The more we know ourselves, the more we accept what God made us, the more we can work and get better, because it's hard to change a lie, but you can improve upon, by self-examining, and you can give of yourself, way more. And besides, relationships are true wealth. I mean, there was I watched this TED Talk, you guys, a long time ago, and it's the longest research done by any organization. It was a 75-year research at the time. I watched it a few years ago, and it's by Harvard University, and was done on, they took a lot of people, kids, wealthy, non-wealthy, poor, different neighborhoods and so forth, and the key was to study them and follow them until they died, and trying to figure out what makes life meaningful, what makes life beautiful, the true riches, which is not just a bank account. There's so much more riches, more important, like health and family and relationships, right? So they followed these kids and until they were, adults and elderly, and up to this research, I think there's only maybe a dozen people left. Most of them had died. There were 4 people that actually had 4 managers that had already retired through their job. And what they found was the people that were the healthiest, the people that had most joy and more meaning in life, were the people that had good, strong relationships. And in business, this is so important, man. Picture trying to cross a river. Everybody wants to go on the other side. On this side, you've got, it's just the terrain is stuff and rocks and no plants and no harvest. And let's say the harvest is on the other side. You can't cross the river by yourself. A lot of unknowns, and the water may take you. So the only way you cross the river is by locking arms with other people. And the better you are at making connections with people, loving more, judging less, having grace, the more you're able to lock arms and pass the river together. And that's really how you get on the other side. And because we don't live in this world alone. We're in this world with other people. And also in business is huge. And Patty mentioned whenever we talked the first time, she was a three-way call with me. When I spoke with her, I'm like, Lord, use me. And as I'm talking with her, I'm like, man, I like her. And I could see she was an eagle, and her wings were hurt. And so anyway, so Patty comes to the business. I'm like, I'd love to come and do a launch event for you. So I go to Kansas, Wichita, Kansas. I think it was Wichita or Emporia, I don't remember. And I went to do an event for Patty. And this is what healed me of judging in business, right? This I don't know if I've ever told Patty this, but it was such a huge, impactful event for me because I go there at this time in my life. I'm like a three-piece suit and tie and looking good, looking the part, fake it till you make it kind of thing. And I go there and I see overalls. I see Arby's shirts, Pizza Hut shirts. I see people in jeans and T-shirts. And here's the dumb mistake I made. I'm like, Patty, I didn't tell her, but I thought, you really brought me here all the way for this? They won't see it. I think you wasted your time, your money, and my time. So I shared my heart. I pitched the business. Everybody got in. And I was like, I almost was in tears leaving that event. And I'm like, Patty, can I come next week? So I go next week, the following week, more Arby's shirts and Pizza Hut and overalls. But Patty today's an ambassador, and I got one of the most, powerful lessons in business. You can't judge the book by its cover. You got to look at the heart. So, gosh, I wish I can talk forever on this, but relationships are true wealth. So don't judge people, but also don't judge yourself. It will hurt your self-esteem, and your self-esteem depends on impressing yourself, and confidence in business is everything. People gravitate to those people that like and have confidence. They like themselves, and to like yourself, you've got to be able to think right towards yourself. And to think right, you got to impress yourself with good deeds and good thoughts and more love and more grace, more positive emotions, less negative emotions. And the more we do that, the more of an attractive human being we become. And the more attractive we become, oh my gosh, the more people we attract in our life. People want to give us and help us, teach us, support us, and that's how we cross the river. But with that said, Patty, I would love to pass it to you for any closing thoughts here.
Well, what a great message there, Andi, and it has been impactful for me. And just a couple things I learned, years ago. There's a Bible verse, James 1:19. It's like, quick to listen, slow to speak. And so, basically, we have two ears and one mouth. And so if you just get to know people and find out, what they really want, that makes a true difference to know that that you care. People don't care how much you know, they care how much you care. And, best example I have, and I may have shared it before, is a gentleman, that I met, almost 20 years ago. And he, if you look at this guy, kind of a farm boy, slow speaking, but really intelligent. But he said, he was trying to build a business, and he was in a restaurant ordering a sandwich, and the waitress like, hey, why are you doing this here? It doesn't even match your personality. And he's like, well, you don't know the hungry bear inside of me. And that just impacted me so much because I believe almost everybody has a hungry bear. They want something different, and it's our job to get to know them and find out what their passion is and how we can help them. So, Andi, I'll pass it back to you to close the call out.
I started the call with the story of the man in the subway who lost his wife. Imagine you were in that subway, and imagine you left right before he shared, "I'm sorry, we just came from the hospital," and they found out they lost their mother. Imagine if you guys were neighbors. Imagine your judgment, your feelings, your resentment, and your dislike towards that person. That person in the subway is somebody in your business today. Can be an upline, a downline, a cross line, an over the line, somebody in your church, can be somebody, can just be a friend. So be mindful of that when you have, interactions with people, because you're either judging or you're impacting. And when you're impacting, you increase your own stock. So with that said, Patty, let's unmute the lines and say goodbye. Love you guys. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you, Andi and Patty.
Great job, Andi and Patty.
Good morning.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.
Thank you. Good morning.